Just making sure it's on this time, bro, because I just recorded this whole thing and it didn't get recorded. So, from the top, once again. We're working on hand-embellished prints today, brethren. So hand-embellished prints, for those of you who may not know, which is probably most, if not all of you, unless you migrated over from Instagram, these are, as the name suggests, prints that receive embellishments by hand. And what do I mean by that? Well, for example, we've got this piece right here, Practice Makes Perfect, one of my favorite prints in the shop. And this is a beautifully reproduced, copy of my painting. And what I do with these to kind of give you something that's in between a print and an original is I kind of choose 3 distinct areas on every print, and I add, I paint on it by fucking hand, right? So I mix some paint up, and if we've got some yellow here, I'll touch it up. And basically what I'm looking to do is take the areas that I feel like are the most prominent in the painting and then bring them out a little bit more. And it just gives them so much more personality, man. And they're all unique after that. And again, you just get something in between an original and a reproduction, and it's really cool. This is about a week's worth of orders, which I'm very grateful for. I think it's amazing that, people are getting stuff out of my shop. I've been doing it for years, and like, no joke, it still fucking blows my mind every time somebody buys something from my store. I'm like, man, I can't believe it. And that's, just like a weird limiting belief that I've probably always had, and I'm just like shocked by like the good news, but shit, man, nevertheless, it's like, it's very cool, and it's like a novel thing to me every time that I get to sell one of these and make them. And so I don't take it lightly, and I put a lot of love into each one of them. And I make sure that when you get them, you're very happy with it, The hand-embellished prints thing has been an important arm of my practice since about 2016. That I started making prints at that time. I was working independently. I wasn't working with a gallery, and for all of those years, from 2016 till the day that I got represented by Unit, I was paying my rent. I was doing all that stuff with just these prints, and that's how I was surviving, And then I got represented, and things got a little bit easier. And I think nevertheless it's important to just keep the shop up, even though things get easier. You never fucking know what could happen, man. Sales can slow down. I could paint something fucking outrageous and get canceled, and it's like, I don't know, man, you got to have like a backup plan for yourself. So just as like a general piece of advice, if you're an artist, I would say, like, make a shop, stock it meaningfully, promote the shit out of it, and never give it up. So today what we're going to be doing is working on all of these prints, and I'm just going to, run through it with you guys and show you what goes into each one of them. And at the end of the video, I'm going to show you the new print that we're dropping, and I'm going to try to sell it to you. So stick around, baby. Let's go. All right, first up, we've got Practice Makes Perfect. Color mixing is always going to be a tricky thing with these, so I like to just kind of hold the brush near what I'm working on, just to make sure that I'm getting the color right. One of the things that I really like to do with select print is extend the painting beyond the border. I think it's just like a really cool way to demonstrate that it's like a print and that you're fucking with it by hand, or that you're adding stuff to it by hand. So the 3 distinct areas that I chose for this one were obviously the arm, the ratchet, and now I'm working on the dress. I'm using a bit of lemon yellow and white with a touch of phthalo blue to mix this color, and it's just going straight on as the highlight for the dress. And this green here is a reflection from the background onto the shadow, so it's just more of like a reflected light. Now here I am Again, extending beyond the border of the print and just saying fuck it to the 3 distinct areas and just, you know, having fun with it. I figured it would be really nice to complete the shoe on the bottom, so I added a bit more of the field, and here is the shadow right under the shoe. I know I say 3 distinct areas, man, but sometimes, you know, it's just so much fun to push it. Fjorg! With this one, I chose obviously the shirt on top. You know, I thought that was like one of the coolest areas just because of the way the colors are working. And unfortunately, you can't see it quite as well because my big stupid hand is in the way. But again, I'm also extending a little bit past the border and working some highlights on the fingers. Here I'm adding some color and some shadow here to the frog, or to his little froggy shadow shape. And just touching up here and there with a very nice deep green. Again, 3 distinct areas and a little bit of pushing out of the border. I also said fuck the 3 distinct areas on this one again, and I'm pushing a little bit more of the background beyond the border. This was a very special print because it was only of 1 of 2 and they're sold out now. Helmo, on the other hand, is very much available. And here I'm adding some bits of fire, just some nice highlights of the fire in the back, and just really trying to bring the luminosity out as much as I can. With this one, I'm definitely going to concentrate more so just on the painting itself, instead of the figures on the side or even the background or the floor. So the main thing with this was just the fire and Elmo himself. So here I'm just adding some cadmium red straight out of the tube. And with these I'm using acrylic, obviously. With oil they would take a long time to dry, and you know that would make them a little bit harder to ship out and stuff, so I'm using acrylic with these. The bottom, adding a little bit of the pink that he has and just kind of pushing it ever so slightly for the exposure. And then I'm adding some of the reflection from the fire in his eyes. And just hitting a little highlight on the eyeballs. Again, more than 3 areas, but you know what, fuck it man, we're having fun with these and I really, really enjoy doing it. Lastly, just a touch of yellow on his nose. The motherfucking casting couch, baby. With this one, the main area I wanted to focus on was the screen on the little camera, and boy, I think it came out really good. It's just a slight little touch of purple and it makes it really pop. Again, this is only, there was only 2 available of these and they've sold out now. I think so, actually, I'm not sure. Maybe not. Go cop it if it's not, bro. I'm also adding some areas to the couch here. You know, it's like a nice leather or pleather probably couch. And I'm just adding some highlights and then going back in with some areas of the background to blend those highlights back into the actual cushions. And then I am extending the little artwork on the wall past the border. Again, not everyone gets like this, you know, border treatment, but whenever I can, I really like to do it. Finishing off with just some more blending on the sides and just making sure that everything looks natural. Going back in and adding those highlights that I just kind of blended back in, and just to make sure that the lights pop really nice. And here we've got the Chad Navigator. With this one, I'm focusing so much on the buttons. You probably recognize this image. This was that Titanic thing with the old billionaires that were in that fucking tube or something. So I'm focusing on the buttons and just really trying to make them pop. Overall though, I'm focusing on the remote. So here's the green button, adding some darks, and then the midtones, and then some highlights. Moving on to the joysticks here, and again, just pushing the lights on the joystick itself. Here I kind of went in with some black on the sides and I kind of bled right into the highlight by accident, but I'll come back and fix that in a moment. Here's some cast shadows from the bottom, the curvature, and here we go back in with my little highlight. Now working on the handles of the remote and just adding a little bit of zhuzh here and there. And here we go with a nice little highlight on the center. And some more just little highlights here from the bevel of the button. And I figured, you know, this was a good opportunity to push this one a little bit past the border, so I decided to do it with the shirt. And so those are this week's, you know, run of hand embellished prints. Now let me show you what we're gonna drop, probably tomorrow. This painting is titled ESPN, and I started by using Photoshop to manually remove the text, and then the embellishment itself is going to just be writing it right back in by hand. And of course, hitting it with that motherfucking signature, goddammit. Okay, so as promised, I'm gonna try to sell you this motherfucking print, goddammit. So it's on my website now, and if the amount of thought and consideration that goes into every one of my prints wasn't enough to push you over the edge, please take this beautiful discount code in the description, plop it into the motherfucking checkout, and enjoy. 20% off. Let's go.